10 Cloverfield Lane is a thriller starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead, John Goodman, and John Gallagher Jr. The film is about Michelle, who after leaving her fiancé gets in a car crash and ends up in a bunker that belongs to Howard, played by Goodman. We then spend the vast majority of the movie trying to figure out if Howard's claims about an apocalypse are true, or is Michelle actually being held captive? Now, this film is not a direct sequel to Cloverfield, and in fact the two have barely anything in common. Therefore, you do not have to see Cloverfield before seeing this movie. Although I highly recommend that you do, because Cloverfield is actually a pretty great movie. Another thing you should know about this film before going into it is, although it's being marketed as a sci-fi thriller, it really isn't a sci-fi at all. So if you're going to this film hoping to see a sci-fi monster movie, you're gonna be disappointed. Because really at its heart and soul, this film is a thriller about captivity and isolation. And one of the things I really liked about this movie before even seeing it was its marketing. The first trailer didn't even come out till mid-January, and even then you still didn't know very much about it, which is really a rarity this day and age. And that worked really well for this film, because the less you know about it before seeing it, the better, because this is a great unpredictable thriller that keeps you guessing the entire time. And one of the big reasons for this was Winstead as the main character, Michelle. She was great, and her character was really smart too, which allowed the audience to feel safe and trust the decisions she makes throughout the film. And John Goodman as Howard, he stole the show, because he keeps you guessing throughout the entire film. Goodman did such a great job at playing this character really friendly, but at the same time super creepy. And because his character is so unpredictable, you have no idea what he's gonna do next. And John Gallagher Jr. was really good too, especially because his character was the smaller role of these three, and I feel like he did a great job with the material he was given. He was a really good go-between between Winstead and Goodman's character, and I also like that there was quite a bit of mystery to his character, because throughout the film I was also wondering if he was with Goodman's character or not. And the director Dan Trachtenberg, this is his first feature film, and he did an incredible job. The way that he was able to build suspense in the scenes was really fantastic, and I also really liked that he had scares just out of nowhere, which kept the audience on their toes throughout the entire film. There's this one scene with the three characters at the dinner table, and the way that he was able to build suspense just off dialogue alone was really remarkable. And this film really is a slow burn, sometimes maybe a little too slow, but overall, he did such a great job at building up the tension throughout the entire film. And the script, especially for the first and second act, was great, especially when you consider the premise, three people being trapped in a room for the entire movie. The dialogue has to be spot on to keep the audience intrigued throughout the film, and boy did they do it. And I really think they found the perfect balance of telling you enough about the characters so you can care for them, and enough about the plot so that you can understand what's going on, while still managing to have this mystery, which is what made this film so unpredictable and suspenseful. And there was actually a fair amount of humor in this film, and it worked and flowed really well, especially whenever it happened after a tense moment, because it made you feel these mixed emotions as you're laughing. And my only negative with this film, without spoiling it, is the ending. It felt pretty rushed, because really after the third act hit, it was like boom, 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 done. And after having a really slow burn throughout the film, it just made the entire tone change, and it felt like kinda like a different movie. That being said, the ending did make a lot of sense, and because of this change in tone, it made the film even more unpredictable. Honestly, I think all they had to do was add maybe an extra 5 minutes to the third act, and it would have allowed it to flow better and not feel as rushed. But because of the way that this film is structured and all the twists and turns that it takes, I feel like it would be even better on a second viewing, and maybe even justify the pacing for the ending. Overall, I loved this film. It was such a suspenseful and interesting thriller that kept you guessing throughout, and I highly recommend you check it out. I'm going to give 10 Cloverfield Lane an A. If you have seen the film, let me know what you thought in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, or you can just click right here to see more.